Life can throw some really big challenges our way, from loss to just our own personal struggles, and it can feel totally overwhelming. So today, we're going to look at 3 really profound ways to think about finding peace. And we're pulling them from a sermon, a spiritual teaching, and a beautiful poem. Let's see what they can teach us.
Okay, so first things first. When you hear the word sermon, what comes to mind? For a lot of us, it's maybe a long, kind of boring lecture, right? But for what we're talking about today, let's focus on the first definition. It's just a talk on a moral subject. The goal here isn't to be lectured, but to maybe get a new way of looking at the world.
All right, let's start with something that touches all of us at some point: loss. This first perspective comes from a sermon from way back in 1910 by a man named Canon Henry Scott Holland, and his view of death is actually really comforting and, well, personal.
Right away, Holland just flips the script on what death means. He says it's not this big, scary ending. It's not a void. It's just slipping away into the next room. That one single image completely changes the feeling of it all, doesn't it? It suggests closeness, not absence. And he keeps building on this idea. What he's asking is for us to keep the relationship exactly as it was. Don't suddenly get all sad and serious. Keep the laughter going. Keep smiling. Use the same familiar name. The connection isn't broken, it's just in a different form.
So here's the real heart of his message. Holland is arguing for what he calls an unbroken continuity. The life you shared, the love you felt, none of that goes away. It's all still there, completely untouched and unchanged by physical separation. It's a really powerful way to think about how love lasts.
Okay, so Holland gave us a way to find comfort with an external event, something that happens to us. But our next perspective, it flips the camera around and looks inward. This comes from His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and his idea is that our biggest struggles and our greatest peace, they don't start out there, they start right inside of us.
So this really gets down to a core question, doesn't it? I mean, think about it. We usually blame things outside of ourselves when we're unhappy, right? It's my job, it's the traffic, it's what that person said. But what if the real source is much, much closer to home?
And the answer here, it's kind of radical. The Dalai Lama says the ultimate cause of our problems isn't out in the world. It's right here, inside our own minds. And that just changes everything, doesn't it? Because if the problem is internal, well, the solution has to be in there too.
So if the problem's in our minds, how do we fix it? Well, the path forward isn't just about being smart. It's about combining our intelligence with real human affection. It's about having the right motivation for what we do. And, probably most important of all, it's about building a truly compassionate heart. And this idea of spiritual development is really key here. But it's not what you might think. He's not really talking about religion in the traditional sense. It's much simpler than that. For him, it's just about the simple, profound act of developing a good and compassionate heart. That's it. And that's something anyone can do.
And look, this isn't just some nice, fluffy idea. There are real, concrete benefits to this. When you build up that compassion, you get inner strength, you become more resilient, you're not as afraid of things. And you know what? You end up with more friends, more connection. It's a practical way to a better life.
All right, so we've talked about peace through connecting with others and peace from working on ourselves. Now, for our last piece, we're going to see that idea of compassion in action. This is a story from a poem by W.B. Yeats, and it suggests that compassion isn't just something we do, it's something that can be done for us, too.
So let's meet our main character. He's an old priest named Father Gilligan, and he's a good guy, really devoted to his community. But he is just completely and utterly worn out from taking care of people who are sick and dying night and day.
And in a moment of just pure exhaustion, he kind of breaks. He cries out that he has no rest, no joy, no peace. It's just this incredibly honest, human moment. He's been pushed way past his limit. Of course, he feels bad about it right away and says, "My body spoke, not I."
And then, right at that critical moment, his body just gives up on him. Someone is dying and needs him for their last rites, but he literally can't answer the call. He just falls asleep in his chair. It's a human failing, born from total fatigue.
And this is the real core of the whole story. The poem says that whoever or whatever made the stars looked down and saw this poor, exhausted priest, one of the least of things, and felt pity for him. It's this idea of compassion on a massive, universal scale. So when Father Gilligan finally wakes up, he's in a total panic. He rushes over to the dying man's house, and what he finds is, well, it's a miracle. the man's wife tells him that the priest had already been there. An angel was sent in his place, and the man died peacefully, as merry as a bird. His duty was done for him.
Okay, wow. So we have a comforting sermon, an inward-looking teaching, and this incredible story in a poem. They seem really different on the surface, right? But let's pull all these ideas together and see what they really have in common.
So let's break it down. You have Holland, who's all about our relationships and how love continues on. Then there's the Dalai Lama, who tells us to look inside ourselves to find peace through our own compassion. And finally, you have Yeats, who looks up, suggesting there's this bigger, cosmic compassion out there for us.
So what's the one big idea that links all of them? It's this. No matter where you look for it, in your connections, inside your own heart, or out in the universe, each one gives us a powerful alternative to hopelessness. They're all roadmaps for finding a little bit of light when things get dark.
So that kind of leaves us with a question for you to think about. Where do you find your peace? Is it in the people you love? Is it through looking inward? Or maybe in a faith in something bigger than yourself? Maybe it's a mix of all three. Something to think about. Thanks for exploring all this with me today.